cold. Couldn't stand JJ Redick.
JJ Redick's arrogance didn't start on ESPN. It's been brewing since his college days at Duke, and now it's spilling over into basketball media, leaving legends, teammates, and even fans divided. His fiery exchanges with Charles Barkley are just the latest chapter in a long-running feud. This isn't the first time Barkley has called out Redick, and it likely won't be the last. But here's the real question. Has Redick's confidence turned into arrogance that outpaces his achievements? From clashes with NBA legends to a fallout with Doc Rivers, this is the story of how JJ Redick became basketball media's most divisive voice. And trust me, you won't want to miss what Doc Rivers allegedly said about Redick's behavior. The feud between JJ Redick and Charles Barkley reached new heights recently when Barkley delivered yet another scathing critique on Inside the NBA.
Bombs out there. But it's Frank Vogel and Darvin Ham's fault.
How did we go there from talking about
people
Minnesota
jacking up 103 saying we're the reason raises it down. 30 seconds to another three-point shooting contest. 30 seconds.
What are the lotto numbers for next month? That's what Damon said.
Damon, stop it, man. I got to be able to see, fool.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
Tell us how you really feel. It's a big game for the Sixers, Cerny. They need to win this game.
Yeah, see, now we get back to where we started.
See, I don't bother nobody. But if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back.
Before Barkley accused Redick of never understanding what it takes to be great and dismissed his commentary as armchair criticism from someone who was just a role player. These remarks weren't out of the blue, they stem from a history of clashes between the two. Redick fired shots at Barkley and other analysts on Inside the NBA, accusing them of being too critical of modern players and out of touch with today's game. Barkley's response? A fiery rebuttal where he famously called Redick a Skip Bayless wannabe and mocked his NBA career as forgettable at best. Barkley didn't stop there. He pointed to Redick's infamous plumbers and firemen comment, arguing it showed a lack of respect for the game's history. According to Barkley, thought you can't talk about legends like that when your claim to fame is hitting a few threes. This is the most recent back and forth.
If I'm a casual fan and you tell me every time I turn on the television that the product sucks, well, I'm not going to watch the product. And that's really what has happened over the last 10 to 15 years. I don't know why. It's not funny to me. Nothing is entertaining to me. This game should be celebrated. I've watched the league evolve. The league is more talented, and not just raw talent. The league is more talented and skilled than it was 18 years ago when I was drafted. That's a fact.
But Charles Barkley finally got a chance to address. You remember the JJ Redick
we
comments? That's right, where he basically blamed Inside the NBA and stuff for the reason that the ratings are down, which is just total malarkey, nonsense, boulder dash, poppycock, whatever word you want to use. Mm-hmm. And I think JJ Redick is the biggest hypocrite going, okay? Because when he was on ESPN, all he did was beat down the NBA, told us about all the plumbers and butchers and whatnot who played and disrespected the earlier era of the NBA. So he's no better than anybody else. And then he wants to get on his soapbox and say the reason people aren't, well, everybody bashing the product. No, that's why it is the preeminent pre- and post-game show.
I'm about we're the reason people ain't watching this crappy product we got. That's JJ. Yeah, us, like we out there jacking up 103s a night. JJ, I don't know Jason Monroe. I don't know who that is, but JJ, you come for the king, you better not miss. Cause I can get you, brother. Cause I got your Lakers games. You can't hide them flaws they got. You just a dead man walking. They got rid of Frank Vogel, who did a good job. They got rid of Darvin Ham, who did a good job. But you came out there thinking you were going to change things with that same ugly girl you went on the date with.
64-51 was your halftime score.
Look at
the highlights of Rudy Gobert.
So he came in there thinking, I can make this thing work. Hell, you can.
77-71.
Put some makeup on that pig. Man, the Lakers are pigs. The Lakers stink, man. Let me tell you something.
It says something about Charles Barkley, and I'm like, huh? But Greg and Bo showed me. I didn't make it all the way through the clip. I got to be honest with you. My resting heart rate is probably 64. I watched the clip; it was 64. Literally don't care. I have other thoughts, but don't care.
Exchanges have become a recurring theme, dividing fans. Some support Redick's modern takes, while others feel he's overstepping, especially given his relatively modest playing career. What do you think? Does Redick have a point about modern basketball, or is he crossing the line? Before JJ Redick was clashing with NBA legends, he was already a polarizing figure at Duke. Known for his sharp shooting, Redick was also infamous for his on-court demeanor and the intense reactions he provoked from opposing fans. One memorable incident occurred during a 2004 game against Maryland, where Redick's confident play and perceived arrogance made him a prime target for heckling. The Maryland student section chanted profanities and held derogatory signs aimed at him, reflecting the intense rivalry. Looking back, Redick has admitted, "I was sort of a prick," acknowledging that his actions fueled the animosity. But if there's one thing you can't deny, it's that he thrived under pressure. The more opposing fans hated him, the better he seemed to play. Imagine the social media frenzy of Redick's Duke days played out today. JJ's NBA career lasted 15 seasons, and while that's impressive, his numbers tell a different story. With career averages of 12.8 points per game, Redick's contributions were solid but not superstar level.
Tell me what his career looked like. What did he do that determined games? He averaged 12 points a game in the league?
Yet his confidence often suggested otherwise. During his time with the Clippers, Redick allegedly confronted coach Doc Rivers in a heated exchange. This wasn't just a one-off argument, it was the start of a rift that would eventually spill out into the open. The tension between Redick and Rivers allegedly peaked during JJ's final playoff run with the Clippers. Frustrated after a key loss, Redick reportedly accused Rivers of mismanaging rotations. Rivers' alleged response: "You don't get to question rotations when you can't defend your matchup." According to insiders, Rivers described Redick's attitude as toxic to team chemistry in end-of-season discussions with management. While Rivers remained professional publicly, he later hinted in interviews that some players think they're irreplaceable, but the team always comes first. If Redick's fallout with Rivers revealed his ego in the locker room, his infamous plumbers and firemen comment exposed it on a national stage. By dismissing past NBA players as inferior, Redick sparked outrage across the basketball community.
I watched all these games. You didn't watch, you weren't alive when these games were being played. Did you see Bird play against the Lakers in '84? Did you see Bird against the Rockets in '86? Were you at courtside watching these games? No. You got to watch the games at the time. Okay. Watching them on YouTube 40 years later is not the same at the moment watching a ball game.
Let me ask you a question then. And we're going to sit down and do this off air. We're going to sit down and do this. And I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to explain to you. No. Well, we're going to go back and we're going to get a time machine. I'm going to sit courtside with you. I'll be 2 years old in the 1986 finals. It'll be fun.
People with less talent will always try to make a name for themselves by criticizing other people and hopefully getting some attention and perhaps increasing their credibility.
Backlash was swift. Bill Russell's family issued a statement condemning the remarks, calling them an insult to the pioneers who made today's game possible. Rather than backing down, Redick seemed to thrive on the controversy. Do you agree with Redick's take on past NBA players, or did he go too far? JJ Redick's story isn't just about basketball. It's about what happens when confidence turns into arrogance. From his Duke days to his controversial media career, Redick has left a trail of friction and division. The fallout with Doc Rivers, the plumbers and firemen comment, and his growing isolation point to a pattern of behavior that consistently puts him at odds with the basketball community. While his basketball IQ and analysis are undeniable, his tendency to dismiss the game's history and challenge its legends has created a legacy defined more by controversy than contribution. If you found this video interesting, hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more unfiltered stories about basketball's most polarizing figures. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on Redick's legacy in the game.